What's happening, Warren? Leo Jenkins PR here with another review on Jenkinstober. Today I'm going to reviewing the Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Monsters and Mutants arc. The 4 episodes that consist of this arc did premiere recently on television, but it came out first on DVD on September 19th. And I gotta say, I still haven't seen Mutant Apocalypse, but this one right here has to be my third favorite arc of the season. It was really good, but not as good as my two favorites, one to be on Rocksteady and the Usagi arc. So I guess the fact that why I really like this episode is because I'm a fan of the classic Universal monsters, and when I heard that they're crossing over with the Ninja Turtles, I was like really happy. Because I was a big fan of the original toy line. I don't have them, the figures, but I really like. They were one of my favorites versions of the turtles. And a little bit of trivia. That wasn't the only time the Ninja Turtles crossover with the Universal monsters, other than the original action figures. Count Dracula did appear in one of the episodes of the original cartoon series, but the main purpose of this episode was to sell the new action figures. Honestly, I thought that was a little bit disappointing because they looked really awesome. I would have loved to have seen Frank and Don and the Mikey Werewolf show up in the episodes. That would have been cool because their designs just look amazing. But unfortunately, they do not show up in the arc of the episodes. The only one that does appear in this arc has to be the vampire Raph, but it's a vampire, not Dracula Raph. But there are other monsters that appear in here, but I'm gonna put it in the spoiler section. Actually, now that I think about it, is there even a purpose of adding a spoiler section here? Because most of the stuff has been leaked online. But if you do not want to see spoilers, then the spoiler section is now on effect. But the other monsters that do appear are Donnie as a vampire as well, and also Casey and April appear as vampires. Raph and Donnie as vampires were just really fantastic. They were great, especially April. April as well was great. Casey, I didn't really like him that much as a vampire. He just looked like a regular vampire minion. But yeah, I thought that the vampires would handle great. So other than that, let's talk about the monsters that appear in the arc. First up, there's the Mummy. I really did like the Mummy, this version of him, the first episode where he debuted, but after that, I just felt like he was just wasted, just a minion character helping Sabanti. But I really like this version of the Mummy. By the way better than the new Mummy that just came out. Next one has to be Dracula. Dracula was great. He does have his scary moments, serious moments, as well as some funny moments. And he is voiced by Child's Play and Fright Nights, Chris Sarandon. And he just did a great job voicing the character, because this has to be like my favorite version of Dracula. And he was also my favorite. He's not my favorite Universal monster, but in this arc he was my favorite monster. The next one had to be the Wolfman, which is my favorite Universal monster, but I didn't really like him in this, what they did with him in this version. The design looked great, but it was just a backstory that kind of ruined the character in my opinion. Finally, there's Frankenstein's monster, or Frank as Mikey calls him. I really like that. I don't think if anyone noticed, but his design was based off on his design on the movie Van Helsing, one of my favorite monster movies. But he did still have part of the the original Frankenstein green skin on him, so it's kind of a mix of both. So the story behind this is that turtles are getting ready for Halloween when all of a sudden all these monsters start appearing throughout the city, and Renette just comes looking for the turtles' help to prevent Tmnt Romero from recruiting an army of monsters and taking over the world with basically what's happening right now. The 4 episodes consist of The Curse of Tmnt Romero, The Crypto Dracula, The Frankenstein Experiment, and Monsters Among Us. I thought the story was great, and something I did like was that by going back in time, things got worse instead of fixing all this from happening, and Brad and Donnie ended up turning into vampires as well. Also, I like the fact that Frankenstein, if I'm not mistaken, Frankenstein's monster, was mind controlled, but in the end he just turned on the monsters and decided to help the turtles, Mikey being his friend and all. But yeah, I really like that. And okay, you have to talk about Dracula's defeat in this arc, the final scene. So Mikey just grabs Donnie's staff and just stabs him with it, and then he just starts turning into bones. The show does have its dark moments, but I was like, damn, no wonder it was moved to Nicktoons. So I think that's all I have to talk about. If I do have to rank the episodes, number 4 would be Curse of Tmnt Romero, number 3 would be The Frankenstein Experiment, number 2 The Crypto Dracula, and number 1 Monsters Among Us. So finally, gotta talk about the best Easter eggs in the episodes. There's the Silver Shamrock commercial. It's a little hard to find, but if you look closely, you can see it. And there's the Smooth Donatello reference to Andre Blackner comedy. I thought that was funny. So overall, great arc, my 3rd favorite, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. So thanks for watching. If like I mentioned, it review, I will do arcs for Tmnt, Want to Be on Rocksteady, also Lego Ninjago movie, and Happy Death Day, and also Mutant Apocalypse when I see it.